Hello, everybody. Today's number is 63. That's right, today's number is 63. We will be right back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Barber Dave's Barbershop at Home for a Sunday shave. First and foremost, we'd like to wish all the dads out there a very, very happy Father's Day. And hopefully you're getting spoiled by the family, whether that be the fur babies or whether that be humans. We hope that you're having a wonderful day. That intro was kind of goofy, but it was to all those old school Sesame Street alumni that remember the count. So he said it was 63, right? Well, there's a reason for that. Today, our soap for the day, along with all the accoutrement that goes with it, is PDP number 63. Not 64, not 62, Rich. Number 63. Anyways, our video series these 3 days is going to be centered around small razors. And this is the small shoulderless Swedish razors, or any razor that's 4/8, 5/8 or less. And I call them the little race cars because they do require a little bit more care in how you move around the face because they're so much smaller. And, you know, the smaller blade, any movements you make on a larger level are going to be exacerbated at the blade level. So the key is to make sure that you're using your shoulder as a fulcrum. Also, at the end of the video, my good friend and brother, Eugene, the Deacon Shaves, make sure you check out his channel, was asking about J-hooking. And so we're going to actually pull out a DE at the end and show the different cleanup techniques that people use with a DE. And before we get started, let's not forget www.theshavingcadre.com. Please come and visit us. We do feel that we are the finest gentlemanly shaving forum on the interwebs. And then also you'll see another thing right here that says Drinks and Daves. Follow that. Please check out our other channel. Our next live episode is going to be actually Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific. And so please come on over. We call our subscribers the Barflies. So grab a libation and join Nurse Dave and I for our weekly show. So please join us for that. Also, right over here, if you please continue to like, subscribe. If you'd like to become a super fan, just look under the thanks thing. And then also, don't forget your Barber Dave's merchandise. I'll have some links down here at that. But okay, there's enough of the marketing part of things. Let's get to shaving. The Prix de Provence number 63 is a hard milled French soap that lasts forever. I have had this, oh God, 5 years. And it's still just like crazy. It's hard to go through. It will take on a lot of water to get the right consistency for a straight shave, but you never have to. I've never broken this soap, and you can't see it. I'll show it at the end, but we're using a Eric Sorrentino Luca Brasi, and it's very similar to a Chubby in size. And it's got a, I'm not sure which badger knot in it, but it does have a badger knot in it. And he made this brush, and then he also made the matching scales for the razor we're going to be using today. And that is a Klaus Tornblom. Just a wonderful, wonderful razor. And as I said, very small. This thing's probably bordering on 3/8. And it's a little sports car. So we hope everybody's doing well, as I mentioned at the opening of the show. We have, those of you that know me know that I've been watching the weather, and we've had a very, very mild, very, very mild summer so far, but today is supposed to be 104. Okay, here we go. I'm a little quieter when I use this razor because it it is so small and light that just any wrong movement can create some issues, as they say. It has been taken across the convex (10 micron) CBN balsa strop, and then on the convex leather strop. The thing I love about these shoulderless thin blades is it's really just an extension of your arm, and you can use the whole blade very easily. But they do require a little bit of an angle adjustment because they are so small and thin. And they do sometimes require a little bit more pressure, but you got to be careful because you can overdo it. And we'll probably this series use this Klaus Tornblom, an Eric Anton Berg, and maybe one other one that I have. First pass was nice, but I did notice I put a little bit too much pressure because I can feel it. Another nice thing about 63, I don't have the notes here, but it's citrusy and warm and can be used, winter or summer. Normally, I would not use it that much in summer because I don't have an aftershave splash. I just have the balm, and I've noticed that balms have a tendency to get a little bit cloying in this hot summer. And again, a lot of times with these small blades, the tang is very small. So sometimes I will take my finger and I'll put it up a little bit higher on the tail end of the scale and then put my little finger on the tang. And that gives me a little bit more stability all the way around. Also, the one key to these smaller razors is they have a tendency that if you have a thicker beard, they will stall a little bit easier. And what I recommend on that is don't try to push through because you may push through some screen. So if you have a blade that starts to stall, back off, start a little bit further back and come in from there. As I can't tell you how many times I've had a stalled blade and I try to push through it and it turns out cutting myself. And also another key not to stall the blade is make sure that your stretching technique is perfect because that'll prevent it because you're giving such a taut surface to go over. Also, if you've got any facial accoutrements like moles, you can literally shave through one of these moles and not even know it until the Crimson Daughter shows up. I also prefer these shorter type razors that have a thumb notch on it because it makes it a lot easier when you're doing your fool's pass. And it also makes it easier to get up in the nostril area. Super smooth. And always, a safety note, always close your razor between passes because you don't know where your hand is. I try to get in the habit as soon as I complete the pass, close the razor, put it aside. That way you don't have to worry about this. Another nice thing about the 63 is it goes through an evolution while you're shaving. Starts out kind of citrusy, and then it gets a little bit of floral, and then you start to pick up the darker notes of sandalwood and stuff like that. And like I said, I don't have the notes handy, so I may be way off on it, but that's just what I get to my nose. Okay, last pass. The one thing I do like is I do like the maneuverability. And most of these have rounded toes, or not toes, rounded feet. And this one's a little bit, it's got a little tiny bit of a smile, not too much. I had to spend some time with it this morning because, like an idiot, I didn't check the last time I used it and put it away, and it was a little bit damp. Now, fortunately, in Arizona, we don't have a lot of humidity, so it didn't do that much, but it did have a couple of tea stains because I did not dry the scales as good as I should have, which was a stupid thing on my point. Because once those tea stains start to take hold, it's a bear to polish them out. And on this razor, the etching is still in pretty good shape. So I kicked myself in the foot for that. But I got it okay. So make sure you dry your razors out. And I know that that's like shaving 101, but I think what happens is you get stupid over time and you just forget about things. And actually what I do now is I use a 70 to 80% alcohol and spray it and let it air dry. So like I said, I like the little thumb notch there. Or should I say barber's notch? What I found that's been working for me when I do that, instead of moving my hand, I have a tendency to move it a little bit, but I'll move my head. And what I like about that is it gives a solid platform. And does not allow for any whoopsies. Okay, let's see how we did. Now I'm going to do something weird because this is for Eugene, Deacon Shaves. Oh, and also make sure that you guys look down in the description section. I'll have all kinds of channels that'll be posted, and please check those out as well. But I'm going to use a DE to clean up today, just to show different DE techniques. Not that there's a lot to clean up, so I'll put a little bit of soap on, and we'll address Gene's first thing, the J hooking. So basically what a J hook is, and I'm going to be using a Feather ASD2 for this because it's mild, is you'll take whichever hand you're using and start kind of a little buff, and then in one motion, turn the razor. So you're actually making a J. That has a tendency to really help get some of those scraggly whiskers. But make sure if you are J hooking that you are moving the razor. And then of course the standard buffing. And so that's the J hooking technique, Gene. Since it's not mentioned very much anymore. Perfect shave today. Absolutely fantastic. Definitely going to go down as a dolphin smooth shave, that's for sure. So let me dry my razor to make sure I've got all the water out of it. And we'll go over everything. Let's see how the alum tells us we did. Yeah, I had a little bit too much pressure, I think, on my cheeks. Not too bad on the neck, but more than I would have liked to have done. But overall, really nice. We're going to add a little bit of citrus for our witch hazel. Normally with this soap I use lavender, Quinn's lavender, but we're going to do Thayer's lemon for our witch hazel today. That'll add a little bit of a lemony note. Kind of brighten things up because it's going to be warm here today. So I'll get cleaned up and we'll show you everything we used today. And I certainly do appreciate your guys' support. We're slowly trudging up the hill to 1100. Also, a big shout out to Deacon, to Gene too. He had reviewed on his channel the Hombres Barbershop shave soap and aftershave that I had sent to him, and that's made by CBL, and he did a fantastic review. So, Gene, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so you saw the razor, basically a Klaus Tornblom 4/8 shoulderless, just a wonderful, wonderful razor. For the brush, the matching Sorrentino Luca Brasi, same woods, and that's got a nice badger knot on the top end of it. Now, like I said, I don't have the aftershave splash for the 63. I don't even know if they make one, so I'm using the 63 balm, and I use very little of it. And I actually add just a tad bit of witch hazel to it so it emulsifies a little bit easier. But it's wonderful. Very woody. It's a lot, I think it's a lot more woody than the soap itself. And for our talc today, we'll be using Yardley Elegance. And that kind of brightens up the deepness of this scent as well. And like I said, with the balm, I kind of have to add a little bit more powder because the balm, not that it's tacky, but it doesn't emulsify as well as an alcohol splash, nor does it dry as much, which I guess is better for my skin, but out here I don't have to worry much about that. And then for our EDT, once again, PDP number 63. And this stuff is just heavenly. Wonderful stuff. Well, folks, that's all I have for you today. Please like and comment as well. And if you have questions or if you have anything that you'd like me to try or do or anything like that, like what Gene did as far as the J-hooking, please let me know in the comments. And we'll see you again tomorrow, but I hope you enjoy the rest of your Father's Day. And don't forget, I'm Barber Dave. Come and see us at theshavingcadre.com. Hope everybody has an absolutely fantastic day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.